else. Okay. Also in attendance is our town planner, Neil Stiggison, and our recorder, Molly Dool, who'll be documenting our proceedings tonight. Our town board liaison is Rich Goldman, who's not here.
You need to vote me in?
Yes, that's what I'm gonna do right now. The first order of business is to appoint Tom Butler as a voting member for the tonight's proceedings. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay, good. Motion carries. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for joining us. Before we continue, does anybody have anything they want to modify tonight's agenda?
Oh, who's not here?
Cheryl.
Oh, Cheryl.
I think she's at Maplewood.
Anybody want to modify, propose modifications to tonight's agenda?
None. Here.
Okay, I think I will with the minutes thing, but I'll bring that up in a second. The first item on the agenda, let's review the minutes and I think we're gonna hold, I propose that we hold on the February 15th minutes because it's gonna take a longer discussion and Bob, what's the status of that? Did you get those all?
Yes, well, I took a stab at writing things.
Okay, good.
And I shared it with each of the members of the board.
Yeah.
Individually, and I shared it with Neil individually.
Mhm.
I think probably 3 weeks ago. I don't know
Yeah,
exactly
right.
when.
Couple of
No one's given me any feedback.
yeah,
which
so do you want
doesn't mean people
feedback or do you
accept
want to do it here at the next meeting?
Let's do it the next meeting.
Okay.
I think I'd be
Is that okay
fine.
with everybody? We'll put those February.
I did my best, just for the record. I went back through the recording and I watched it a couple of times and I did my best to guess it, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't look at them further.
Yeah, okay, great. Niels, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, for Bob and for all members, the town's still having email issues, servers with
Yeah.
various ones, so please make sure that if you're trying to contact me, do it at the Ulysses.planner@gmail. Don't use the NY and don't use the gov.
Oh,
We don't know what's going on with those, so please just use the
Gmail.
Gmail, because I didn't receive your email.
Okay, sorry, it would have been a while ago.
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry about that.
Well,
And-
okay.
And I will forget what you just said.
Gmail, he's got the Gmail account, so.
I just don't trust me to remember that.
So can you send Bob a note with
Yeah,
using that?
If you could send me
that
an
one,
email,
just to
then
get
I
a-
can respond to it. In fact, it'd be great.
You know, we get like 100 a day, and once they
Yeah.
mine move up, and once they move up, you're in
Yeah,
trouble.
Exactly. If you were to send me an email, just saying what you said and saying you didn't get it, then I can send it to you.
All right, so then,
But if you ask me to remember.
so we'll have copies of it for the next time, and then, okay, great, thank you. Okay, but I do want to go over the August 16th minutes. Is that okay with everybody?
I haven't had a chance to really go through them, but.
I did. I went through them with a fine tooth comb.
Oh, good.
I went through them. August 16th of minutes from the last
Yeah,
time.
I thought there was something missing. I thought there was 2 times we granted the variance for the setback from the stream. And,
Oh, for the Jacksonville Park,
right,
right?
yeah,
Uh,
I remember we denied one of the variances and I didn't see a denial in there.
No, I think there are 3 in here. Oh, no, it wasn't a denial. It was praised in the positive, and then the motion did not carry. There was a vote for it, and the
Oh,
motion didn't carry because, and it said in there that it had to have according to the rules, it had to have a supermajority, correct?
right,
So that was in there.
right.
So it didn't pass.
So the wording in the minutes say granted, all the variances were granted.
Oh, you want to point that out?
Yeah, that's not quite right.
First of all, is that the thing you wanted to point out, Niels, or is that something different?
No, I was gonna talk about the cars.
Okay, good, all right,
And you got Ann Corman's name spelling, right? Her name as well.
I don't know, because I don't know how to do this.
Okay. Yeah, it's there's 2 E's missing. It's ANNE and KOREMAN.
Where is it? A bunch of times or
Let's
just one
see,
time?
page 4 of 17 on my
4, yeah, page
and the
4.
draft of August 16th. Yeah, page 4.
Diane Hellman, she's
No,
No,
Diane,
no,
and then there's a
no, yeah, her name's. I didn't correct her name.
I know she has 2 N's.
Yeah,
Did I
yeah.
miss
No,
it?
Ann Corman. Ann's ANNEKOREMAN.
Oh, cool.
K-O-R-E-M-A-N.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
And an E and an N.
not in the end. Yeah.
Okay, David, did you find it? What you talked about?
At the draft
Uh,
I'm looking
We
at.
got so many minutes floating around here. I think.
And,
Oh, okay, now it's,
I have a small,
okay,
are you caught up?
the granting of the variance stream buffer from 100.
What page you on?
I don't know what it is, it's probably 4 or 5 pages in.
Yeah, it says it down the bottom right, what page it is. It's something of 17, is it 3 of 17?
Oh, no, this is 9 of 17,
9.
9 of 15.
Oh, okay, so you have a different printer, okay. Go ahead, what do you have?
Okay, so we granted the variance to increase the stream cover from 100 to 25 feet. Is that correct?
The first one, number 1, you saying?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
the benefit to
then,
the applicant will outweigh the detriment to the health and safety, is what it says. That one? I just can't tell which one you're on.
okay, we granted the variance, as I said, oh, it's 7, page 7, where I,
Okay. Number 1,
right,
okay, I have the benefit to the applicant in granting of the variance to decrease 100-foot minimum stream buffer to 25 in order to construct an ADA
right,
will outweigh the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood. That's what it says?
that's what I said, it's what,
Will outweigh.
right,
So their benefit outweighs the detriment because
Right.
it's just for the ADA part, 3 parking spaces. Okay, next, then what?
so for the reasons set forth above, the BZA grants the variance to increase the stream buffer from 100 to 25 feet, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay,
To construct, it's not, it doesn't just end there. It says to construct an ADA parking area.
now on page 9,
Mhm.
I have uh. Minimum buffer reduced from 100 foot to 25 feet. For off-street parking,
Yep. That's right.
right,
And that's the one that. If you look to the next page. It says variance denied. Abstain, see that? Abstain. Variance denied. Yep, there you go. Because it needed a supermajority.
okay, so. We have the variance, but denied because of the county letter,
Well, no, well, yeah, I mean, there was a county letter, but it needed a supermajority in that county letter.
right,
Yep, exactly. Yep,
supermajority was required,
right.
okay, so,
Denied. The other 2 were not denied. That one was denied.
yeah.
Okay, we good?
So it's was the middle one that we denied,
It was because of the parking that
Right.
parking off street parking for a bunch of cars.
and we granted the other 2. The first and the
Correct.
third,
That's correct.
okay, all right. I misread that.
No, that's good. It's a little convoluted. Page 3, Molly, the last line, discussion ensued over the recent wetness of the park.
What page is that?
3. Bottom of page 3.
Mhm.
Somebody want to put some words in there for that?
Discussion ensued over the recent wetness of the in the park.
Soil. I remember something about, didn't you say that? bring that up, there's, it's wet there recently a lot.
yeah, I
Can you
just,
just say-
well, yeah, that was part of that discussion. The best I remember without listening to the tape again is that.
Wetness of the soils or something like that. is what you
Yeah,
meant.
yeah, the stream, the seasonal stream has been flowing all summer, basically, and the ground has been wet out there.
Oh, okay, ground, yeah, that's what I was looking
So,
for.
yeah.
So if we say the recent ground wetness, ground and stream, I think is more
I
appropriate.
think that was, Bob that said he was there, where he had parked there was
Oh,
wet.
Okay,
That was, but I know you also mentioned, Andy, that the.
Yeah, that it's been like
the
that
stream was
recently,
wet, but I
right?
was talking about the parking area specifically, so I think.
yeah,
That was.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, there's something, I just will put a question mark in there. I have something on page 5. Whenever you're ready. Yep.
So what we did last time is basically what we put the Catskill thing in the crapper, right?
Well, it's up to them.
Huh?
It's up to them.
Hmm.
Okay, I have on page 5, the 1, 2, 3rd paragraphy thing, whatever that is. Butler stated, no, I'm sorry, it's the next one. Discussion ensued over the parked cars leaking gasoline, and we said, and other caustic fluids is what I'd like to say. Because it wasn't just gasoline, there's gas, oil, and all the other stuff. that
Transmission
comes out.
fluid,
Transmission
This is
fluid.
on page 3.
No, we're on page
5
5
and
now.
17, 5.
Right. Anyway, and other caustic fluids, I think would cover that, I see. Because I was definitely concerned about the other stuff too. Overflow, air conditioning overflow, you name it. The next, move down a few paragraphs, it starts with Hillman. Is this true? You explained that the restrooms necessary for those who cannot wait to travel? Is that what you said?
That's Diane, there's a helmet with one end and a helmet with two ends.
different Hillman.
The other Hillman.
The other hill.
Oh, okay. Can you put that, please?
I'm gonna use her.
Ms.
first name.
or
It's
Diane?
spelled differently.
Yeah, I know.
Still,
That's still.
be good to clarify, I agree.
I was like, really? Yeah, sorry, I blazed through it and
But maybe on those 2 paragraphs, you have first names or
yep, first name, right?
with the last name.
Yep, they got me. I think that's all I had. Anybody have anything else? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm just not the last thing. Page 13 of 17. Third paragraphy thing. Break. Pollock stated that she believes that the BZA's authority and the deed restriction could be, I think overridden is the word, not overrode. That true? That true? Tom?
Yes, I think.
Overridden.
Oh, just for the record, I spoke to Terry Pollock this morning, and I had a comment on the legal description.
We're gonna talk about that later.
Okay,
That'll be on the agenda.
Okay, that's fine.
Right.
did she call you? Did she call you? No.
No. Can you go to page 16? For the reasons set forth above. I think there's some redundancy in there. Something's wrong with that sentence. BZA hereby does grant the variance on the subject lot and does grant the area variance to exceed 5,000 square foot maximum floor area for the proposed new building, for the proposed new 2-story detached building. Pick one of those. I think. Right, you with me on that? That's just this seems like there's just some extra words in there. The next page, the town liaison report, Butler noted that the lack of training relevant to the BZA, stating that Hillman has offered to create training designed specifically for the BZA.
That's the other.
That was Diane or you?
No, that was me a long time ago.
You really, did you offer up?
I offered to try to ferret out and talk to the towns and topics, the magazine that
Yeah.
goes out to Association
Oh,
of
right,
Towns.
right.
Pull out stuff that pertains to us and, and then present it to the board is where I was going with
Yeah, so
that.
that's
Yeah.
fine then.
Yeah.
I just put a question.
Yeah,
Oh, you did? You offered to give us trainings? Okay.
yes, the Tom was wise enough to remind.
Okay, anything else? Anybody else? Niels, did you have something to add to this?
Yeah, so there was a scrivener's error, it's noted on page 13 and 16.
Okay,
The initial application stated the gross square footage would be 13,385 square feet.
mhm,
And then in their subsequent letter that was discussed during the July 19th meeting, amended
it's like
that
14
to
something.
13,617, so it's a little over 200 square feet.
Oh, okay,
So discussed that with Nate, he figured that was just a minor scrivener's error, but that the board should be aware of that.
okay, great. I'm okay with that. Everybody all right with that?
Mhm. Thank you. for
I don't
pointing
think
out.
it changes things substantially. Do you? Yep, okay. Thank you.
It's less than 1%.
I can see that. All right, so that it for the minutes, everybody. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So move.
Second. Call the vote.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thanks. Great job, Molly. Very good job. There's a lot to do there. I appreciate it.
So let me just ask, was there any feedback from the town board after?
We're gonna talk about that at the end.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you. Remind me, bring that up, right? When we do new stuff. Next item of business is a continuation of the public hearing for an appeal by the applicant, Sean Ritchie, on behalf of the owner, Chris Galkey, who you're doing it on your own today, right?
Yes.
Are you representing? Okay, who proposed to construct a new 100-foot tram system for the upper portion of the subject lot down the steep slope to the lower portion of the lot near the shoreline. The property is located at 5 Maplewood Road. The two variances are requested from the board as part of the overall site plan review with the planning board, reduction of the 50-foot minimum required front yard setback under the code of Town of Ulysses CTU 212-47.e and reduction of the 75-foot minimum required buffer setback from the lake under CTU 212-124.b. The board previously discussed the proposal during its meeting on July 19 and August 16, 2023. Discussion in the last meeting was tabled pending a site visit by 2 board members. So today, Mr. Galkey, you're representing yourself.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so that's all right. You're the point person today, right?
when are you going back for to the planning board?
Hold on a second. Let's get through this, all right? Can you fill us in on any new developments since the last time? There new proposals or new developments?
It's my understanding that the site visit, well, it happened.
Yeah,
The
it
next
did.
day, and as far as I'm aware from my contact with the current company, things seem to go well. They got the information they came to collect,
Mhm.
and nothing new has come out of it on my end that I'm aware of.
Okay, no plans have changed on their part or anything like that.
Not
Okay.
to my knowledge.
So let's summarize then. You're gonna put just a tram in and there's no stairs on the side of that. Is that correct?
When you say stairs,
There's usually a set of stairs that go down. They could be wide or narrow, and I'm not sure what the plan was. I thought he said,
Yeah, it's normal that there's stairs, because if the tram stops in the middle. and you're on the slate.
but it's an
But
option.
not in this design.
But it's an option.
It is an option. So the initial plan was that would be something that I would add to the tram after the installation, cost savings measure.
Right.
And they would be just the narrow, 18-inch wide.
Yeah, the narrow,
Yeah,
right.
just for that emergency escape. They were not going to be installed by FLX tram, at least. We had not gotten to that point.
right?
Of making that final decision. We didn't tell me if we needed to make it or not. So, yeah, our initial plan was to go back and add those after the fact, as an emergency cost saving
Mhm.
measure. That's still my plan. It's yeah. Yes.
I think you have to go through the same process. Niels, can you correct me on this? If he's gonna build stairs going down the side of that in the future, isn't that a variance also?
Would be if it's on the setback.
You could go through this whole process again.
Okay.
And there's no guarantees.
Sure.
Just a statement, and just a,
Yeah. So I guess the question that I have is. Understanding that. My question then would be, if we say yes, we're gonna have them build it now for the current approval process, but. Find that it is cost prohibitive
Mhm.
to add them in. When they actually do the installation. Is there any issue with them not being put in at that time, other than having to potentially go back through this process? To add them later?
The one I can think of is a practical one for being on the ground, like environmental. So then you're tromping up and down, you're doing the whole thing all over again. You're tromping down the slope and putting in another construction on the slope. So that's a practical environmental kind of one that I can think of. I don't know about the other regulations and all that. I mean, Niels, you have anything to add to this one? I don't know what to say about this. So if you put that in your, I think, let me rephrase what you said or try and reiterate. If you put that in your application now, your appeal now, and I would need to see how much, what's the footprint, what are the materials, all that. I mean, I think we'd have to go through all the things we go through with the tram. We kind of know what they're made of. We've been working with these people before. They have given us summaries. They have engineering specs, they have everything, it's only this much of a pipe and this many pipes and all that. So we're pretty familiar with all that stuff. And now you're throwing a set of stairs at it. And I don't know what the dimensions are. I don't know what the materials are. I don't know how they're being installed. Are we running a machine down the slope, which is highly undesirable and things like that?
No.
I guess I would need to know that, and not by you just telling me here, but we would need to kind of write them.
Let's just say no stairs then. That was the original plan. Yeah, let's just say.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty sure about that. Josh was.
Okay, yeah, let's just say no stairs.
Yeah, he didn't say no, he just said, no, it's not in the plan. So the plan we saw doesn't have stairs, right?
Right.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you can see that would open up a whole another set of things, right?
No, I mean, I understand that when we talked about stairs during the last meeting, I. Apparently, obviously assumed you were referring to a large set of like separate stairs, not necessarily those that are
Oh,
permanently fixed to the tram frame body itself.
I think we discussed both, different times, but yeah.
we did, and I asked him directly,
Okay.
Mr. Stafford, is his name,
That was not made aware of to me.
and he said, no, there's no stairs in this, because I specifically asked, or, at least one of us at least asked. There's usually a set of stairs that go along with these and some of the options, and there's wide stairs and there's narrow stairs is what I'm aware of.
Gotcha.
And he said, no, there's no stairs in this model.
Let's.
That was up to him.
Stairs.
Okay. Was the notice of the public, did we get another notice to the public, all the surrounding areas?
Yep.
Neighboring properties, good, any correspondence?
We did not get anything until late this afternoon.
Oh, again,
So I've added it to the record and I can speak what she wrote, but I didn't.
yeah, please do. Is this the same one that sent it late the last time too, or is this a whole different person?
This is someone named,
Okay, interesting.
Elizabeth Thorndike. She's at 25 or 27 Maplewood. Said that the code was enacted to protect the shoreline. Many existing trams are closer, but they were installed long before the current code was enacted. Also, the shoreline changes from season to season, and the location of high tide means the owner needs to walk a bit further. We recognize now that the health of the lake is more important than the individual preferences. That was it.
No. No conclusion on that? Therefore, I'm for it, I'm against it, none of that stuff.
Not for and or against.
Thank you. Can you remind us what that other letter was, the previous one? It was this case, wasn't it? Same one? Or-
I believe.
Yeah.
Was that from Amy?
Amy.
Miss Panic? Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember that. Yep,
Very much supported
yep, I agree.
his neighbor.
And Amy's on
I
tonight.
remember.
But it's time to have some questions.
Yep, yeah, for sure. And so. I guess I'll take this time to open the public portion of the meeting. Before we start talking to you and asking specific questions. If the public has any comments, please let me know. When you do, please introduce yourself and then let's make it brief and keep it to the topic at hand. This specifically, this application. Would anybody in the public? Like Amy, apparently, like to say anything here?
No.
Okay, thanks. I'm taking your silence as you don't really want to speak up other than what you said the last time, Amy. Thanks for attending. Now I'm going to close the public portion of this meeting. I think it's time for us to ask questions. So who wants to go first? Andy, you want to go first?
Yeah,
on this?
please. Yeah, and Mr. Goki, I was at the site visit and I was very impressed by the team you've got together there and everything. And I saw the route going, very close to that huge old chestnut oak. And nearby there's an ironwood, Australia, Virginia, quickest price is the chestnut oak. Those two trees, those two species are like really significant in the UNA that's near you. And they're all along that ridge, those are the main understory and overstory species right there. And companion trees that are in there are cherries and things like that. So your previous owner cleared a beautiful view of the lake. They took down a lot of those understory trees that were there, the Australia and cherries and things like that that were in the way. They left some big overstory trees, which by the way still have tape on them. So the blue tape up there, you might want to get that off at some point. Yeah.
How old is it? Is the tape?
I think it was probably there from the tree removals.
Years or less?
It looks like it's been a while. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
One was tape. The other one looked like it was. I don't know. I can show you pictures.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. One's on a giant like pine.
Pine and the
Yeah,
other's
there's
on a big maple.
Yes,
Yeah.
So those actually were, I think, put up maybe the day before you got there.
Oh.
They were holding a temporary screen for like we did in outdoor movies. So they held up the projector for the night.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah, so they're there for short periods of time and then they come back down.
Mhm.
So they cool. So they left the beautiful big large trees, but they took down all the understory trees there. And you can see why you've got $1 million view now. But rather than put the tram over so close to that existing large mature chestnut oak, why couldn't I forgot? I don't know why it didn't occur to me then, but why couldn't you go right down where it's already been cleared? Right down to the dock. I took some pictures that kind of show it's pretty much directly above the dock.
So I can only speak to the advice I was given by the train company. And it was essentially twofold, maybe three. First and foremost, they said that the installation and the methodology behind the construction of their trams, and I really wish they were here to listen to this, being, minimal support structure, widely distributed, had a very, very low, if any, impact on that whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that oak, that tree in particular is of very significant concern to us. And that was my biggest concern also, is that it would have any negative impact on that specific tree. I was a little less concerned about some of the smaller birch that are popping up all over the place. But yes, the larger size ones we wanted to make sure were preserved for cliffside erosion protection, aesthetics, and it's a big, beautiful tree.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, their point was it wouldn't have any negative impact. And the pathway, it's got a narrow profile, would actually just squeeze right between that oak. And I believe, I'm not sure what the larger one is, there's like a,
It's another, maybe a younger oak to the right of it,
okay,
as you're looking down the hill.
okay, yeah, so it's to the right, probably 8 feet apart, 8 feet wide.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, sorry, I'm looking for my photos I took.
That's right.
But yeah, so, but I guess my point is that the understory trees, like, so those oaks can live 300 years.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
some of the understory trees, even though they're small, can live almost as long, especially the ironwood, Astraea virginiana.
mhm.
And they are definitely in that ecosystem companions, and they, you know, you find them growing together. And what the route they're taking is going to entail the removal of ironwood and some cherries, I think,
Mhm.
that are, and so my question is, could we save all those? And the other thing is, I'm sure they consider no damage, and they
Yeah.
they had a good story about, it was great. They're gonna bridge and go as far as they can. I think they have 12-foot lengths.
That's what I was
maybe.
gonna ask you, how
So
far
they
away
were-
from the root
I
zone?
think they were planning on having a post maybe 6 feet up and 6 feet below the tree. And then spanning over it as much as possible. You're still within the critical root zone of a tree that size. And so it's definitely gonna be damaged. Then you're also taking down companion trees next to it. So I guess my question is, I'd be in favor of this 100% if you could just move it over to the right where it's already been cleared.
Okay,
And
and
you
so,
can almost go straight down towards your dock from there if it's feasible.
right, well, and then, and that, the second point was the feasibility, the first point was they assumed no risk. The second point was, there's, if you kind of look at the hill on the, I guess it's the south side. There is one sort of at the top of the edge of the hillside, and then 10-12 feet below that is actually another sort of flat.
A little
plateau.
landing sort of.
Right,
Yeah.
and something about the installation process, it's either exceptionally more expensive, or they would end up they have to do some grooming of the hillside to kind of make the tram work into that area.
Oh, because of the
Yeah.
flat, because the flat
Because of the
zone would
flat, yeah.
interfere with the.
Yeah, huh. That almost looks man-made down there. You know,
Can you-
that
Somebody
like
show me
that
this.
a long time ago.
I have an aerial here. Can you show me this stuff on the, this other? Yeah, all right.
Okay, so,
So it looks like, here's your stuff. Here's, it's your little landing there,
yeah,
the flat area.
so, okay, so yeah, so this is, so we kind of always tell people the property's got like 4 tiers. The
Sure.
road, the
Uh-huh,
house, this is a steep slope,
right.
flat spot right
And
here.
that's what you said earlier, right?
Mhm.
It just goes down.
Yeah, so this is flat, and then there's another slope. Here, the slope is continuous.
Yeah, right.
Here, there's another flat spot, pretty much right under my thumb. Yeah, and what you can't really tell is on this
You don't
side.
really see that. You can,
Yeah, what's that other?
there's another landing right here.
Mm.
I'm sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, no, that's right. Actually, this tree, this maple here is actually right on the edge of that flat, almost like another. It's at least this wide from the bottom.
It's like a
of the
big
hillside.
shelf down
Yeah,
there, partway
exactly.
down the slope. So that would make them maybe go have
They-
some high poles or something.
Yeah, right. To start, you'd have to get higher probably.
Well,
Yeah.
and then that also doesn't, like, it lands, that actually juts out even farther. And so it would end even farther out. The other option was to go across from south to north and down.
Mhm.
But the issue then was the aesthetic. It's like really out there for everyone to see on the lake, and there was.
What kind of angle are you talking about?
So basically coming from over here and going this direction.
Yeah,
Bypassing that shelf basically landing in a very similar to spot to that what is or where it's currently intended to be landing. But there was a little bit of a concern because there's that large pine and there's a couple other things over here. I don't think they necessarily need to move any of those, but that was an obstacle. The route is much more doable in the sense that you can get a straight line, but it's much more visible in comparison to here. So we were just sort of weighing options, and this was the one they recommend, and as they're the experts, I went with that.
So here's the big oak.
Mhm.
This is the other, I think it's a smaller oak, actually. Same species, I believe, but so much
You said
smaller.
there's some cherries in there, but they're just.
Yeah,
they're
there's
started.
cherries and Australia right in here. So that you're planning on retaining this one?
Yep.
And of course, the big one and going
Mhm.
between, Yeah, okay, I was just, I'm satisfied, but I kept
I'm with
bothering me
you.
like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, we've already cleared a whole bunch of trees
No,
here. Why
I
can't we
take
just go
advantage of
straight?
Clearing that
And-
happened.
We did in fact address that
Yeah, would you?
when we were there.
We did, I don't
Yes, we
remember
did,
that.
Because I'm remembering now the discussion,
Oh.
and to move it over, given the angle, there was an excavation that had to happen at both points in order to make it work, and it was going with this one, they go straight up.
Yeah.
But the landing point and that point in the middle were creating too many angle problems and excavation problems.
Thanks,
Okay.
I don't remember that.
I didn't remember it
I'm
until,
with you about punching
now.
holes in the root zone, and it's clearly in the root zone. That thing's a full canopy, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's like,
Like
it's
Marcus, and so the root zone goes out to at least.
30 inches in diameter.
And and then there's fine roots way out there, but you're not way out there, you're in a almost coarse roots, so.
Probably 6 were structural roots, right?
Structural roots, yeah.
Yeah, so they you gotta be really careful when they're drilling those holes, or
But-
they drill them, right? Or
No,
pound
they're
them, they
just-
pound
They
them.
pound them, yeah, so they're gonna punch a hole right through like this, right, those are.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, if we're gonna
Gonna be two of them.
grant this variance, we have to make a finding on the unique natural area. And really, the question is, I think we had an assurance last month that, this was not gonna be within the,
It isn't.
no,
and so it's.
really close.
Anything we're talking about varying it will still not be a problem, is that right?
Well, we're in the steep slope area, so yeah,
Right.
it's a problem. They're all problem. Everything in there is. It's a problem to arguably our most treasured.
Yeah, but the real
Environmental.
question was, what are the boundaries of the unique natural area? That was the county's concern.
This is
Sorry,
outside.
David, what did you say?
What?
He's saying,
did
what are
you
the
say?
boundaries? What are the boundaries of the unique natural area?
I think it goes through your
It's
property, right?
outside.
Yeah, it's like,
It bisects.
Yeah.
In fact, I can
Yeah.
show you here. Yep. It's pretty much in between my fingers there.
It's
The
up
tram
there.
would be down here.
It's upslope, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't affect any of these,
So I found some
Consider-
old property photos actually from the neighbor, and I have a feeling that the UNA was established long after this property had been developed, so they had something here, and then this actually used to be like a badminton court, like all beautifully groomed and everything, before it got overgrown in like the 70s and 80s. So this has always been fairly cleared. Actually, that's where the septic system is. At this point as well. But yeah, this is all wooded area here, even though clearly that's a fall or winter photo.
Yeah, okay, yeah, the green is the UNA.
All right,
Remember this one?
Right.
So it goes right through, and this is Chris's property.
Right.
Just go with these.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
so Tom, what did you see? I'm not sure if we got the full summary.
What did I
You,
see?
you think this is the reasonable, is that what you're saying? This
I
is the-
thought this was A, very reasonable, and B, the only way they were gonna get down to the water.
Right,
Was no way to build stairs that would in any way be functional or useful, or would just be too much. So what I saw was well placed, once we had talked about the fact that they'd have to excavate, and attempt to minimize the damage to the tree. But I was very impressed that there was no other way you were gonna get to the water than the tram.
Mhm.
And it, the plan was very well thought out.
And if I may, we did have a couple of people come out and, you know, give us options on stairs and the cost came in at the same, if not, I think in one case, even higher than the stairs because of the complexity. And also just like the impact was clear, but it was going to be significantly bigger. And so it just made zero sense to remove so many reasons. And we didn't really want that look. We didn't, do that. So that option.
So, then we got into the stairs because that's one of my big concerns whenever we say, oh yeah, go ahead and do this. And we don't shore up the potential for the other stuff. So I would not be for this if we allowed you to build stairs later on. If we left it open that you could also build stairs later on. I personally, I'm not for this at all.
No, I mean, and just again, what are we referring to in terms of stairs? Are we talking about the little tiny emergency escape stairs? Or are we
The
talking
ones
about
that go along the tram, I
Both.
think I want to know, I want to see what those are.
Okay.
I'm concerned about another set of stairs when you say, yeah, we got this tram here and 5 years from now, you say it would be really nice to have a set of stairs too. I'm not for that at all.
No, I mean,
I think
and
We're trying to prevent that. That's what we're trying to do here.
no, I
We lack the
understand. And-
details on that.
Well, if we're gonna do stairs, I don't, we were told that that wasn't in the plan. So
Right.
we don't have any of the plan or drawing. I hate to slow you down and do all that, but I don't know what we'd be okaying here if we said stairs. So I'm not,
What I'm saying, I guess, is the stairs are beyond the application before us.
they're not in it.
Right.
Right, no, understandable.
From having looked at the property.
Yeah.
The whole essence of this tram, no tram thing is what it's gonna do to the lake shore. You start putting them on the tram. If we put in the set of stairs that would be needed here,
Yeah,
it would have considerably more impact on the
I agree.
visual and nature of.
so I
than the
agree.
tram would.
I agree. And so I wouldn't feel comfortable leaving it open that could be done in the future.
Well,
So I don't feel comfortable leaving that open. I would like to close that option off. If
I
we're
mean,
gonna
if we
do
grant
this.
the variance tonight, they'll have to come back, with another application. And probably going to turn it down, maybe, I'm gathering.
Or we could put a restriction on
yeah. because-
tonight and say we prove this with the covenant, the restriction that will.
Yeah, but that doesn't take care of the stairs going on the side of the tram like the,
It could, we could say that it's not allowed, we could say that.
or we do allow. I mean, I'm okay with
Either
the-
do
with
or
those narrow
don't.
stairs on the
And
side of the
that's,
tram.
we
That-
could specify.
Yeah, and that is all I would request. Like, we have zero intention. To
I know.
ever put in a separate set
Right.
of stairs. And I'm 100% okay with you putting that.
And it's not you.
No, I know.
And we're here going, oh yeah, but you move in 5 years.
That's fair.
So, right, so.
That's their problem.
Yeah, well, we don't want it to be our environmental problem.
Exactly.
And-
But yeah, as long as we're there, we have zero intention of ever putting in a separate set of what we would call traditional stairs.
Yeah.
But Steve,
Emergency escape stairs on the side of the tram, which would literally be this wide,
Yeah.
is what they.
It's probably more than
typically
emergency. I bet you use them like
You could, but I mean,
two.
yeah, it's just one long run of stairs and like, it's not real safe, but that would be the only thing, and I couldn't leave here with that as being a restriction. If anything, I would have to delay. We would like to have that opportunity to do explore in the future, but I'm 100% okay if you want to say we can't do a separate set of like traditional stairs, but 100%.
well, I think I think we need to do that because as the zoning is written, you wouldn't need a variance to put in stairs.
I think
And
that's
so,
true, right? As
if
long as
what
you don't encroach on the, is that true?
I have a different interpretation. I don't see that stairs are exempt. Dog, I don't see that stairs are exempt under the current zoning. Dogs and boathouses are, but it doesn't grant exception to stairs.
Okay.
I would like to close the door on that though.
Yeah.
personally. So say what you just said again, you would like,
So. I'm.
you're okay with that?
I
No
would be,
stairs.
yeah, I'd be 100% okay. Amy. My wife, Amy, maybe listening.
Two Amy's on that.
Love her input on this. I feel comfortable that she would agree that like we have no intention of putting in a separate set of
Sure.
traditional stairs.
Yeah.
So if that was a restriction that you needed and wanted to put in today, that like,
She's
I mean-
not talking, but she sent in the message to Greg.
Agreed.
thank you.
Go Amy.
Uh,
Thank you.
I think we're okay with that, but I can't be okay today with closing the door on adding. In the future, the emergency escape stairs that would be attached to the tram. If that was something that you absolutely had to see to approve the variance, then we would have to delay and it would have to go back to them and. If that works through, but
You
it
mean
wasn't,
plans? You mean have to see
Yes.
plans? that-
because we don't have plans because it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't want somebody else coming through. I mean, I'm okay with what we've seen in the past in this company. Is every,
Yeah, generally, yeah.
but,
it's nice to
yeah.
know what we're doing.
in that little narrow set of stairs.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call them. I don't know what to do, but
A
I don't know if we
question for
stipulate
those, and maybe you don't know the answer, but would these stairs, emergency, whatever, be attached to the?
they are.
the same
That's what I
frame? It
like.
doesn't
Yep.
require a different infrastructure.
They're literally just I mean, from what I've seen,
Uh-huh.
they're literally just bolted to, they put an extra set of like joists that are bolted to the same support posts.
Right.
They stick out 18 to 24 inches on the side. And they just kind of run up the side as one long run. They're literally only intended, there's no railings on them, it's just hey, the power went out, you need to get out of here
Mhm.
type scenario. And yes, you could walk up them, but
Yeah, you wouldn't be doing it.
no, they would not be safe to walk up on a regular basis.
So I liked it in the past. That's my recollection. That they didn't seem to be adding anything because they're using the same pole system.
Yeah,
They're not adding extra supports and
It's not gonna have much of an impact if they're using the existing structure.
no, they're fine. They're actually
Yeah.
fine, but I don't, but not if another company comes in and does it a whole different way. Oh, no, we can't do that. We have to use. So how do we word that? Using the existing support structure or something like that? Can we do that? That's what you're proposing? I don't want to open the door for a set of stairs. to
That would
go
be
in.
fine with me, yeah, I mean, using the existing support structure and. Don't actually know their dimensions, but I mean,
Yeah, 18.
honestly, even if there was a width, like. I might ask for 24 inches of width, like. Off
The
the
wide
side,
ones or
yeah.
something.
Nothing else, 18 would be a little treacherous, between these tiles is but again, I don't unfortunately know their specs to know exactly what they are.
List.
How wide is the stairway again?
Yeah, that's a
How wide,
problem.
how wide, I'm trying to figure out how wide the total thing is because, so here's the proposed route. I sent you,
Yeah.
everybody got
Yeah.
that photo.
And
And
how wide is the train?
so if you add this, I'm just curious about, I'm assuming you'd probably add the stairway to the other side, not the oak side, but I don't know if that's the case.
Yes, it would be the south side.
And then I'm just wondering if there's room to keep that other chestnut oak with the addition of the stairs.
There's no additional support put into the stairs. So
Yeah, but
just the stairs.
It doesn't matter, I mean, if it goes out where
Yeah,
the
we don't
tree
need it
is,
wide,
the
though.
tree's
Right,
gonna
so
have,
not to where the tree is.
Right.
yeah, I don't know if there's a.
It may go right next to the tree, but it's not gonna interfere with the root structure or the tree itself.
Let's specify.
It'll fit in there without hitting the tree?
That's a question, isn't it?
Yeah,
If
that's what-
they've got 24 inches.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, and I unfortunately don't know the exact width. I do feel like it's pretty narrow. I don't think it's more than 30 inches wide in total.
Between the trees and stuff?
No, the tram.
The
Oh,
total tram and,
So angle is slope 43, length.
so we're talking 4, maybe with stairs.
Number of pilings.
4.5 feet, 5.
5 probably tops, but I regret to say I'm fully speculating.
So that would probably fit there if you were snugged up close to the yield. the big one without having to remove the smaller one.
We could just specify that the oaks not be disturbed or removed
With the stairs.
with whatever, and then, you know, you can put in the stairs without doing that, you can, if you can't, you can't. That would be a way to get around trying to engineer this.
Yeah. I thought your neighbor got the small stairs, like the 12-inch ones. Did anybody remember that?
I think, right, there's a narrow, catwalk stairs, like.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't see that. It's just that comparison we asked them for the previous one. And there, that's why I knew there's no stairs going here. And I asked him
Right.
specifically. So he says on there, no stairs.
Yeah, I'm concerned that the stairs would entail the removal of the other oak. Yeah, and so, I mean, if it can be done without that,
So what, why not put that on the stipulation?
Yeah, right. If we can,
And then we don't
you
have
said that
to,
before.
yeah, no, then we don't have to get into the engineering detail.
Yeah,
We just
yeah.
have the
we don't know
environmental
what they are, but
as the restriction, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me, didn't we say that we have to grant another variance for those stairs?
we can do that now.
We can,
You we trying to do it now?
he wants them now, yeah.
Okay,
Well, yes, I would love them now, but more specifically, I don't want them,
You want them okay?
I don't want them restricted from ever being possible in the future.
Right,
But
right.
yes, I mean, it would be really nice. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the way of the attorney.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, if you decide in the future you want to vary from what you're talking about now, wouldn't that be a new application?
Right, and so it would be very nice to say, like, you could do this. You know, as long as those two oaks are not impeded,
Right.
I think that would be fantastic, and if there was something that needed to be decided. To add. Then. I think that makes sense.
So my question to Niels is, can we, does this have to be proposed as a whole new variance to add the stairs to it? Because we have the document that says no stairs on this one. Or could we actually say that in part of, as part of the conditions? We kind of did something similar before where we went, oh yeah, you could do this, and it really wasn't written. I don't know how much leeway we have here.
I think the condition would be okay if it's tightly worded.
I think you could, I'm trying to wordsmith the condition currently. So this specifically with for emergency egress, there is only the, correct? Yeah,
That's
Right.
that's all I'm looking for, yes.
I'm kind
So
of
we could go ahead and do that without having to be a whole new variance. We could add that on the conditions or.
Yeah, so one thing to keep in mind, as long as the stairs were to the south of the tram, because further north, you're gonna start getting into your side setback.
Yeah,
Which would be a different
Right.
variance altogether. But, and then with the stipulation that, you know, that the stairs wouldn't go any further closer. To whatever setback the board determines for the
Right.
lake
in the tree.
and the tree.
Yeah, and so I'm not seeing anything, just speculating.
Well, but we could limit that by saying you can't go into the tree, but you don't want to go in the setback either. So I don't know, how close are you to the setback there? The neighbor's property?
I know it's out of it, but I don't know.
Right.
So there are two site plans I was hoping Josh or Matt would be here to explain it. There's one site plan that says it's gonna be beyond 15 feet. There's another one that's more recent that says it's as close, just under 13 feet. So I cannot speak to that.
What would, say that again?
What's
Yeah,
the
you got that in
setback
front of you?
requirement, 15 feet?
We have the initial one that was submitted that shows that the tram location is outside the site setback. The last survey that was submitted.
And by how much is that? On the yellow is the tram?
Yeah, the green is, that
Yep.
green
Mhm.
hatch is just so that here with this. Allows to serve it at this. Here it's fine, but
No,
with this angle, it's showing that 12.9.
instead of 15.
That would require separate variance.
Unless you made the condition, because I thought there was discussion previously. Pushing this. For the south, if I go back quickly.
In a previous meeting, you mean, right? Not tonight.
So my understanding, and I can only tell you what I know, the surveyor came out
Mm-hmm.
completely separate from the tram company.
Yep.
And made estimates based off of a line that was there to generally kind of mark the space. Their position was that it would be outside of that 15-foot line. And so the string at the bottom may have been a little closer to the property line than had been intended, but again, it was when it was put there by Sean Ritchie,
Mm-hmm.
intended to be a representation and not necessarily an exact dimension.
To come from experience, recent experience, that could be big trouble for you. I'm not threatening you. I'm just saying it's like, whoa, that's a problem. And then when it's discovered later that you're actually encroaching on setback, side yard setback, especially. That's led to some real big problems for the owners.
No, and that's fair. It's supposed to be outside of that, which they told me it was supposed to be outside of that.
So that includes when it's angled and even if it's just the end.
Right, no,
It's
no,
still
I
approaching,
understand
right?
that, so I would go to them and just say, hey, you said this was supposed to be outside of 15, and if suddenly it cannot be outside of the 15, then obviously we have to come back here, but
Mhm.
the construction would be required to be outside of that 15.
What do you think?
I mean, I think that sounds reasonable. Need to pay attention to.
Where does this structure?
I don't have any problem with.
That's
Future
what-
emergency
that's his house.
stairs, as long as we keep the
That's the previous
environmental
one?
goal of not damaging
No,
the
this is
streets.
their website.
Oh, yeah. That's a big word. Right?
I don't know. Well, here's a picture of a, tram with the narrow stairway next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, this one does have a railing. But yeah, that's a tight squeeze. I'm just thinking between those two
Between the
rows.
trees, right?
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think? You're okay with stipulating that not disturbing those oaks?
That they retain them.
And that's so-
They're going to be disturbed.
Let's,
Well,
but your options then would be, oh, I can't disturb them, therefore I can't put the stairs in. And is that acceptable to you and your partner, your wife?
If you can't put the stairs in without removing the smaller of the two oaks.
Well, I think that's a conversation that,
I don't know if they're third or not. I think it might.
yeah,
You know,
I mean, it's a decent space between those trees, but how it affects that setback and
Yeah.
everything else, that's, I guess, the
Right, right.
question then too.
Thanks for bringing that up too. The setback is gonna be crucial for you.
So I can only. Go off of what they have told me, and
Yeah.
I'm not actually even 100% sure they fully considered this. And to my knowledge, stairs were not necessarily excluded from the plan, they weren't necessarily decided on yet either, so. I can understand why you said there are no plans.
Well, it says no, also says, the thing he gave us says no.
Okay, and that's good. Yeah.
I can only speak for myself, but I'd be inclined to approve this, including the future status of stairs if they're attached to the frame and with stipulation that they not encroach on either of those two trees. But you might want to, ask us to adjourn again and go back and think about this more before we take a vote on that. That's sort of your choice. Because once we make that stipulation, if we vote on it through it, it's gonna be a lot harder for you to come back, right?
I don't know, you say, right, I can't answer that question, but if you're.
Well, if
telling
you
me
came back
yes,
and
it would
said,
be-
oh, we rethought it and it's gonna be better for us to go, you know, across the slope or something like that.
Mhm.
That would be up to you. We're not,
No, we're not trying to push it, but just if we are to approve it tonight, it's harder for you to come back. But you have to reapply, basically.
yeah.
Okay.
So you gotta look,
Yeah, I
at
just-
any downsides to having us say, you know, well, we gotta vote, so we don't know how we're gonna vote. But if the vote went through with some of these restrictions, I'm hearing a couple. Including, I really wanna add my no stairs in the future.
Yeah.
Which I think you got approval on that. Right? Between the two of you.
I'm thinking like Founders, along the same lines. But, you know, if we could, approve this, that the two chestnut oaks would be retained with minimal disturbance and that no, other stairways other than the emergency egress, exit,
Attached to the same structure.
yeah, attached to the same structure.
So that might put you down to a smaller stairs if there's like, oh, we're gonna hit it, but it might be a problem. So, I don't know. I mean, I thought there was something smaller.
As a guy who's always filled with stuff, you could put one 12-inch step in there next to the tree. You can lean against the tree and, you know, there are always ways to actually do it.
Attach it to the tree.
And if you know, there's one little one next to the tree.
I was like, wait a second, how is that okay? That's a joke. Yeah, I like what you.
Builders find a way.
I feel as though. Yeah, I don't know, partially, I don't fully understand, like, the process and the bureaucracy involved in like, if it's approved today, what does that mean, like, I don't.
Yeah,
have-
well, I don't know if it's that much harder.
Well, you can come back and ask for
You can
another
always come
variance,
back
but
to
you have to, you know, go through the whole application process.
Yeah, I don't think it's daunting. You just have, you know, we're. Yeah,
It's not like you come back.
you have to do a quick calculation, you know. if
Sure.
there's-
The process isn't set up to allow you to amend it.
Fair enough.
Do some algorithms, quick algorithms in your head, think, all right. what-
Otherwise,
what-
people would be coming back all the time, right?
So the answer tonight is no or yes. If we say yes, you can hear the way the wind is blowing up here. You can hear that there's gonna be a couple stipulations probably, in order to get an agreement. And then it's your decision. Not to put you on the spot, but speed chess, you're on the spot.
I think I'm good with what I feel as though I'm hearing, where emergency egress only, trees aren't,
Trees are
trees are
retained.
retained. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess if we decide that like we get out there and look at the measurements and like, it just won't work, I
Yeah,
guess. that
right,
means-
that's a whole different thing.
That means then we have to. I don't know, I guess that's any different than having to reapply is like a half a step more than we're gonna end up back here anyway. and
Yeah.
Talk about. the
I
other
agree.
direction.
And we're not trying to push you into anything. In
No.
fact, we're all sitting here thinking, what's the downside? And I don't know, I mean, if you don't see any real downside. We're not trying to pull you in a direction that's not,
Yeah, I
good
mean,
for you, so I don't
the
know.
thing is like, you know, do I see any downside now?
Yeah.
No, but at some point in the future, it always presents itself.
I know, but you know, so this isn't irreversible. I mean. This is, you're okay to do this.
Yeah,
If we say yes tonight. And when you get to putting in the emergency stairs, you find it's a problem, you can't make that go. Then we go for another variance and try something. If you can do it, then you're all set to go from what we do say tonight. Unless you run into that problem.
fair enough.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Anything else? Andy, you okay?
Yeah.
All right, who wants to take this, we, in discussion, we're good?
I'm good.
Do I hear a motion?
Move the question.
Do we have a, yeah? You're
Tom?
putting up.
I
Tom,
know
you're gonna move the
question,
motion?
which means if we get a second, we get a motion,
Yeah, do we have a second?
I think.
I guess we, like, we,
Well, we did the discussion, I think, yeah, good one.
Okay.
So we have to have all the wording of the variance. all
Yeah, we
over.
better do that. So someone better make a motion to, you have to actually make the proposed this, right? It's longer than
Well,
that.
I'm not
You
writing this
did
one up.
that.
No way I'm writing this one up. You guys.
You did great last time, by the way.
You've got too many
I'll
qualifications.
share the two people who visited the site. For wording of the resolution.
Andy's all over it, I can tell.
Yeah, sure.
Pretty good, and then you
Yeah.
help out with it. Those are good, good wording on that. They will all help you out on the.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just, looking for, additional language that we might want to add.
Yeah, go ahead, take your time.
Well, let me see.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll ask for help and just go through this.
Okay.
Wade through it, okay? I think I understand the conditions we want to put on it. What do we call that? So we have an emergency egress stairway,
Yeah.
and then the, is it a traditional stairway or?
Any
Do
additional
we have a
stairs?
any
No,
additional?
I think any additional.
Any
Okay.
additional.
No additional, yeah, that would cover.
And
it.
we stipulate that this emergency one is attached to the frame. It's
Yeah,
not-
yeah, okay, yeah,
Does not have
Existing-
independent,
The existing
footers, et cetera,
frame, yeah.
okay,
Transfer.
got it.
which, would clearly prohibit any other type of this.
Okay,
So where do you
what do you want me to start here?
Sure,
Right here.
we love your voice.
Up at the top?
No, I don't think so. I think,
Oh, just
Some here.
be resolved.
to, I think, one go, and therefore be resolved as next page. Right here, start it. That's good.
Okay,
All right, so we're gonna accept all the wording up until now, therefore be resolved on page 2 as follows. And you're gonna start with considering. right?
okay, good, yes. Now therefore be it resolved as follows, considering all the statutory factors set forth above, the Board of Zoning Appeals finds the following: the benefit to the applicant in the granting of the area variance to decrease the front yard setback from 40 feet to, how many feet?
Yeah. What's your XX? What are you intending with this XX?
What is that?
What's the
We
proposed,
have to specify an actual.
real distance
Our
to,
draft document.
that you will
do
not
that
go
for you, so.
any closer than that?
If it's from the mean high water line.
That's what the
Yeah.
setback is measured from.
3,
Was it 8?
5, 8,
8, I thought it was
somewhere in that range.
3 stuff.
yeah, it changes.
I mean, this dimension we're talking about appears in this whole document.
So. Here it appears, it's just like
That's-
if we're gonna use this as a
Mhm.
reference,
Yep,
so. So the only issue I have with that measurement is. Again, it's based off of a line that was intended as a mere representation, and so.
which line, the high water mark? you saying?
Well, this survey was drawn based on. There was a string line that
Mhm.
was attached to a cinder block at the bottom of the hill and tied around a small tree. Up the hill. And so. Where that cinder block sat,
This is T.G. Miller. This
Yeah.
survey was not based on a string.
it definitely was. In terms of.
7.5, 20 feet, no. No, he had real equipment out there. GPS and everything.
No, I understand that, but like for them to know where the tram was to be located.
Oh,
that
that, yeah, their little tram location thing.
Yes,
That's a
yes,
different thing.
and so
That's not the
she-
survey. That would be their,
Well, no,
they're
but her
drawing and placement.
measurements would have been based off of the location of like that string line.
Uh-huh.
And so whether that string line was to represent the backside closer to the hill or the water side.
But that's a side to side. Okay, so you think there was a string going for the mean high water too?
No, that was staked by T.G. Miller.
Okay, so that's the one we're talking about right now, the distance to the mean high water.
Correct, but so my point is the end marking of this proposed train
Mhm.
location that end line would have been determined by the string that was left by the FLX tram company.
Mhm.
So Jackie, when she did her measurements for this, would have based this dimension, this 12'9" on, well, sorry, this 14'8"
Mhm.
would have been based on her mark of the mean water,
Right,
and there having left this string attached to a cinder block.
uh-huh,
Right, and so again, the question remains to some degree is, does that cinder block represent the back of the lower platform? Does it represent the front of the lower platform?
mhm.
If it's the front, then it's 14'8". If it's the back, then we're down to like 6. That makes sense.
14 sounds a lot better than 6 to me. What's it look like down there? Is it flat? What's the terrain as you get down there? Where-
That spot, it's pretty flat. I think there's a couple of photos that have, they're a little overgrown at this point, but.
Yeah, it's hard to see from the top of the ridge. You can't really see the beach down below, how wide it is.
Right. Well, you were there, you're down there?
I didn't go down, no. It should have
Did you go down there, Tom?
I should have got his kayak.
You go down now.
We would
It's
need
not
to
easy to get down.
rappel,
Tram.
you need to rappel
You
down.
would've
I would have
needed a
needed a tram to get back up.
Okay,
I could have fallen down.
actually, this photo. You can't really see the string. But you can see the cinder block. So this flag represents the mean high water line. This
Okay.
cinder block represents, is where that string is actually tied. So it's relatively flat right there. But
So the distance is that in that direction, same?
so the 14'8" would be, the hill is here, the lake is here.
Yep.
So the 14'8", I'm assuming, and I wasn't there when she did most of these measurements either, that she would have based her measurement from this cinder block
Mhm.
to.
No, not to that. The
to
stake
that-
there. not to
Well,
the
yeah,
stake.
to the line of
Mhm.
the stake, yeah. And so, but again, is this the
We're
back
putting a
side?
number down. I'm just telling you, we're putting a number down. Or we're not progressing through that. We're not
Yeah,
moving.
I don't feel comfortable not knowing what the number is.
Well, we're gonna make it, and it could be very fortunate for you if we make that number now.
that might be a reason to come back. I mean, I hate to postpone you, but it's.
Yeah, and you know, your representative not being here, or their representative not being here, I should say. Does not help in matters, because I wanna know, like, well, where's it still, what's that cinder block that they put that there, that,
FLX.
okay,
I think we talked a little bit about this last time.
We did.
Or pushed back, but I don't remember.
And
exactly
then,
what
but
they
then
said.
I'm worried about the actual, what do you call it there? It's not the gondola, but the station itself. You know, they have another name for it, but
Landing?
landing, I guess, yeah. Mhm. And I'm not sure if that goes down to there and then you have a landing, because you have to hold
Yeah,
that car.
and we don't really have a blueprint, right? So, we don't have great information. I'm not trying to give you a hard time.
I mean, I tell you, I poured over this today and I was like, I'm not seeing, maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not seeing a lot of drawings and stuff that we've had in the past.
Mr.
So-
Chairman, are we gonna have a meeting in 2 weeks?
No.
So,
No, it's too, so they have to be a month before.
More than that.
I don't know what to tell you. If we come up with a number now and you come up with some width as the restrictions and all. I mean, I'm gonna say, yeah, no, 14 feet. But I'm not
Yeah,
sure that's
but
gonna do you any
But it's
good,
hard to justify it, and it's,
and I'm feeling more and more uncomfortable the less data we have. The data are kind of squishy, right? I mean,
Yeah, I think if we just had our numbers, I think.
we didn't even make
move
number
ahead.
one, we didn't even make it past
No.
one. What are we asking for? Okay, good question.
I mean, this number appears in all the paragraphs of the resolution.
Right,
Yeah, right. I mean, there's no way we can move forward without knowing a number or.
both the 75-foot buffer and.
Right, so what I said before is we're not trying to push in anything. I think that you might want to think about going back with the information that we just provided here. You need to know the distance. We need to know the distance, or we're gonna propose one, which is not necessarily gonna be suitable for you. You gotta decide whether that thing's gonna actually fit through there. Having stairs would be okay. The only reason I would even consider this without like. Not scolding you, that's not the right, but kind of like, well, we can't make a decision without good drawings of what's going on. It's because we've dealt with this FLX before a few times recently, and I can envision all these things. We've even seen the materials that they're using for that. So we were real careful in the first couple times at least, and they did a nice presentation and all that. So I'm fine with this stuff, but dimensions, drawings, all that, great. And I'm feeling less and less comfortable.
Is there anything else we need other than that?
Well, dimensions, drawings, and where they need to go to the base of the hill, and you need to figure out whether that'll fit given their stipulations, or they do. Right.
Right, what's, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Deputy Chair.
If
You'll
the
say
applicant's gonna go back, we also request that the 2 oaks that are gonna be referenced also be placed on the site plan. Since we're gonna be referencing.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, if we could
excellent
get the
point.
2 oaks on the site plan, and then we need to know exactly, like, what is the setback you're asking
So on the
for?
plat, right on the plat itself? Yeah, okay, so the
But-
survey should be done.
And it's, yeah, it's the same setback, whether we're talking about 75-foot buffer or the 40-foot setback, the same numbers, it'll be the same
That's
number,
right.
but we just need to know that number.
So how close encroachment on that, the mean high water? That's really crucial. I think it would behoove you to figure out if that thing does angle off in a direction, does it get within the other problem, which is gonna be a big problem. There's side yard setback. And then it's just, I'm a little dismayed that this is a different picture than the other one with the yellow on it, and then we're not sure, and then you're saying that's kind of like, well, it's based on line, some flagging tape or some rope or string or something. And I mean, I think I would trust,
This
trust
is
the
an old
company.
survey,
Mhm.
it's the one that was just redone,
Okay,
so. I'm pretty sure they just kind of plopped that in there saying that it's
Sure.
gonna be outside of the 15.
that's fine. I trust
Right,
them, but I think we need to, trust and verify kind of thing. So you might want to look at that with the new kind of restriction, like, is it gonna fit here? And what if we do avoid the trees, and then how wide are the stairs are gonna be, and all that would be really nice. Okay. And you can hold us to our word here. I think if we come up with everything.
I mean,
would
it
that be
depends a
enough
little
for
bit
you?
on what the number is, if you come back and say, well, that's 2 feet from high water mark.
Well, I need to know.
It's 14 feet, you're probably hearing it's fine, 6 feet, that's closer than I like, so. I'm not
We need to
guaranteeing,
have something to plug
yeah,
in.
that number actually does matter. So that's important, and
And you
Well,
heard
last
the
time it was
comment,
special.
which is a good comment, the water level changes and all that, believe me, we know full well what climate's doing to our lake level. Sure,
But those oaks could be there for centuries, so it'd be cool if we could see them on the plan with the tram and stairway emergency egress going between them. And that would. And then we would know, and then the number, the actual setback that we're talking about, I guess we need to know that. Yeah.
you need a number, it seems it's gonna need.
Sorry, the more we got into it, the more it's like, really get the number one, and we still want to know where
Well,
the
let me
distance.
just ask a procedural question.
Yeah.
If we take this up again and Cheryl's here, Tom won't be, or unless we want to stipulate, we stipulate that Tom,
Tom can be here.
yeah. Well, what I'm saying
Your
is,
advisor on this one for sure.
it sounds like Tom has, the perspective on it, but I think.
Yeah,
he's
but
gonna
that's not up to the appellant. We don't-
No,
we
but
don't need to
I'm
talk about
I'm saying we should probably decide that if that's, if Tom is gonna be part of this, we should specify, we should be prepared to go that way.
Okay, good. We'll put that on hold, that discussion. We don't need to discuss that right now. Cheryl, actually done.
I think she
Cheryl did, right? Jeez.
So miscommunication.
Are we meeting at 5 Maplewood? I'd like to, but no,
We weren't invited.
so she'll have some input.
Actually, I mean, if that helps, you guys want to just come up.
Yeah, well,
We'll
we
just
would
drive
have to have a
down
meeting.
there.
You might have to have the whole town there.
Yeah.
It's an open meeting.
That's what Zoom's for.
Niels, anything else if we, just for you to make a decision right now, you gotta decide one way or the other.
I think if we can get a revised site plan that shows exactly what you're proposing from both the side setback, if that's gonna be an encroachment, then we need to know that. The setback from the mean high water, the egress stairs and the 2 oaks, if we're gonna reference that in the resolution.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I don't really know. Have we ever gotten the dimensions total, the exact dimensions? No.
Yeah, it'd be good to have.
Which we do in a lot of the previous cases, so I'm a little more comfortable with this because I trust these folk, but we don't know what we're dealing with here. Width, length, of course. How close to the water line, huge, those are huge. Trees.
Sorry.
All right, your decision. We can push it forward and put a vote on it.
No, I mean, there's too many of them buried at this point.
Yeah, you don't know them even, right?
Can we just adjourn this till the 20th?
Yeah, we can table it.
Table it till the meeting on the 20th?
We don't have a meeting
We
on.
don't have a meeting on the 20th, otherwise we.
Why don't we?
No.
Again,
So here's what I'm suggesting, we don't have to renotice this, it's really, it's gonna be a continuation of what we're doing tonight, right? We just need
It's
to
a
have,
table. We're tabling it to the next meeting. We can't have another meeting that soon anyway.
oh, we could.
I can't.
no, we can't.
No, you can't.
I move that we table it till our
Next meeting.
October meeting.
Second that.
With apologies to the applicant.
I mean.
But I wanna
the
leave it up-
season's over anyway.
I want to leave it up to you though. Okay, all right. I'm liking the way you're sounding here. Because you really had the right to say, no, I want you to vote on it right now, but okay. All right, I don't want to.
Will that be October 4th or the 18th?
18. You can, once you get on this board.
Yeah.
There are always vacancies.
Fourth is
This
not
a lot of fun.
Fourth is not board. Niels, are you eager to have more meetings? Is that what you're saying?
The board made a change to the first Wednesday. I just wanted to make sure that
No, good question. It would be the 18th, and you're right. It's kind of like, let's go back and get some good plans, and I think we're moving in the right direction, and I think it's for all
In
involved.
terms of the site plan, like, is that something that we need to have T.G. Miller come back out to do the.
What do you say, Niels?
if the board's comfortable with just a site plan and not a survey. I would expect a site plan, but if you're teaching Miller's a surveyor,
Yeah, so you have to pay them, yeah.
Yeah.
They're the ones in here,
So, yeah, and then.
One of the big
my
players.
ignorance, I don't know the difference, like. Who needs to come in and do the measurements to?
We don't know either.
Yes.
there's nothing in code that says it has to be a survey,
right?
but you can make a condition for the planning board, you know, and part of the resolution that the survey will delineate. You know, if the board, for example, says a setback from the mean high water is going to be 16 feet,
Mm-hmm,
that shall be delineated on the revised site plans of the planning board.
right.
Site plans are less costly to do than a survey.
And who does that? Who would do that site plan?
Could be an architect. It could be T.G. Miller. I don't know if they do a price breakdown between surveys and site plans. They could.
They
Site
might, and
plans
since
just
they
need to be
did this recently, yeah, check, you might want to check with them. Because they did this recently and they might say, yeah, okay, it's not a,
Yeah,
it's a matter of somebody
we
coming
did
out.
This in response to, well, we did that in response to this, and so now we kind of. Feel like we did the wrong thing.
Well, things are unfolding, right? I mean,
You're talking about
This-
redresser?
no, this is TG Miller.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So
TG
they're one
Miller,
of the two major players here. You know, this
no,
is-
but dresser is TG Miller.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
really?
No,
I didn't know that.
no, I mean, he's.
His name's not on here.
All the work up there.
Yeah,
He's,
cool.
he's not the sole partner, but he's the major surveyor.
Okay, good.
This is already frankly complicated.
Yeah. Yes.
It's really put a wrench into that.
Yeah, no,
We need to have our sector. That can have any impact on that.
anyways, I'm comfortable with whatever he does.
Any portion of the septic's gonna be in the setback, it'll have to go to BZA. Including leach lines.
It'll definitely be. In there, because the current one is in there. And they're replacing the current.
Septic, did you say?
Okay.
We'll spend some more quality time together.
Well, you've got some homework to do, right?
Yeah. All right, any questions for us? Because I don't
So. Oaks.
Yep.
Actual dimensions.
Yep, site plan to see where that's going to, and then you can do the oak thing while you're there, and how wide the stairs are.
Egress stairs and. Maybe
So-
just discuss that you never want to have real. Other additional stairways.
And then you're
Easy.
going back to the
Bet
planning
it's-
board for site plan review at some point.
Yes. I believe that's.
What's our zoning officer say?
Yes, right.
It'll require site plan approval by the planning board, yes.
Right.
Yep.
So I mean, so that'll be after us. Or not.
Normally it's after.
Normally, yeah. And then they weigh what we say too.
I mean, what I'm suggesting is if the same planning board has a meeting before our, you know. If the site plan is, prepared. Why can't they go before the planning board and have the planning board maybe give us a, conditional letter? I don't know, I'm trying to shorten up the process for you, like.
Well, they meet more frequently than we do, so that's not fair. And then what did we do last time? We said condition upon them, or no, something that,
We did cars did that.
Yeah.
So it was conditional upon BZA approval, but then it wound up being that the BZA made their decision prior to
right,
the cars, so.
right,
Were you looking to get this thing done this fall, right?
well,
As
As we said,
it's
October anyway.
But.
right, right.
Yeah, so I mean, at this point, the season's pretty much over, so. doesn't- Another month at this point. Should be the worst thing.
Yeah, right, it's already dragged
Less
on.
costly than a month in July was, so, but yeah, no, that's fine, we'll. Work through that, that's.
Anything else, any final thoughts? All right. Well, sorry, but thanks, appreciate it, and I think we're trying to come up with solutions that are gonna work for you. But that are gonna work, very importantly for the rest.
Appreciate it.
No, we appreciate your patience and all.
We don't do stuff in the vacuum.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
I will get to work on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, nice spending time with you,
I'm sorry.
nice spending time with you, looking forward to spending more time with you.
Thank you, Mr.
And then if there's some. It would have been nice to have more data. More drawings and maybe even one of those fellows here. Or,
I'm
folks.
honestly shocked. Is-
Yeah, okay,
I
right,
mean,
so
I'm actually
it may have-
probably way more shocked than you are that they aren't here right now.
yeah, right, it just fell through the cracks or something.
Yes, and so, and I also was under
the impression that you had all of the necessary drawings.
Yeah.
As I saw drawings on even the document that was mailed to me from the town, so, more detail makes sense.
Yeah, well, and then we have the no stairs and all that, so if we're gonna okay stairs, let's have them drawn in there and all that stuff.
Do you want construction drawings? I think they did that with Klankowski,
They did,
showing the.
and they did it with the
structural
previous one too, which was really good.
So I wanna ask them to include.
I mean, they have them, they have them, so if they share, the more they share with us, the better, but.
Okay.
They need them to do the job, so.
Right. So
Well,
the planometric,
The
You-
process that was sort of defined to me was like the angle sort of presents itself as they're doing it.
Yep.
So that's where I'm concerned if you have to put in a very specific number on the bottom, if the angle that presents itself is different and results in it going a foot.
we
or
need,
two
we need to
fast.
put in the terminus, so I'm really thinking, for me, planometrically, I don't care, you look down over the top and show me where that's going, where the trees are, and then where it ends, relative to the front yard setback, yeah. High water mark.
You gotta have this information to build it.
Sure, yeah. We don't want to be surprised at the end. Oh, actually went into the water.
Anything else I can?
I think that's it. I'm not so concerned about are you saying the construction with the dimensions of the pipes and all that kind of stuff? I'm not.
Well, just there's technical drawings that show the stairs connecting to piles that will be driven into the
Yep,
ground.
okay, yeah, that'd be great. Yep.
Yeah, and again, I actually thought that was all, you had all that already.
Well, there weren't any stairs in the draw, in anything. so-
Stairs, no, correct, right, okay, absolutely.
Right, so we need that whole thing, they just have to.
Okay. Perfect.
Mr. Gilkey, you know you have a bald-faced hornet's nest in one of your oak trees going down the stairway to that first lower landing.
I did not.
Yeah,
Time of year too,
yeah.
they're nasty, right?
It's you want to be careful with them. They
Especially
because they
right
will
now.
follow you a long ways.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's
No.
up in that oak that's further, going up
Let's see.
the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they
They
build
will
it
follow you a
fast.
long way.
And they'll follow you a long way, but the colony will die completely and the queen will go on the leaves and stuff for the winter. So if they're not bothering you, I wouldn't go near, don't go near them.
This is the season where they start getting real nasty.
Yeah, and then, but
I
then,
can't believe that escaped me. I don't like these.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
allergic to them, so.
Oh, yeah, okay, good to know.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, well, thanks for your patience and let's do the right thing here.
Okay.
Have a good night. All right, thank you. See you, good night. All right, I won't put these papers away then, go on.
not yet.
Yeah. Yes, I think that. Any additional items anyone want to bring up? That's the time for this.
What's that?
Any additional items anyone wants to bring up?
Yeah, I thought we were gonna talk about the cars situation and also the training.
Well, our liaison is not here, so we can talk to each other about the training, but I'm not sure that that's gonna gain us a heck of a lot. Wasn't there an email that addressed the training? Did you get that? The solution that they came up with
I did not,
last night or something, or?
but there was, the planning board discussed training last night.
That's right.
And I think it was more on time concerns, so I followed up with the planning board just on the time, so the resolution grants 2 30-day extensions, so.
230 days, right, so 60 days.
So the deadline is November 24th.
But that's only with approval for the top board for the resolution items.
They
We as
approved,
individuals
they approved.
generically for all of them.
I, for what? For the extension, yeah,
They have, I haven't heard that.
yeah. I just, Rebecca just sent that to me before, and I looked at it before. So I don't know who got it. You didn't get it? Bob didn't get it. I didn't.
I
get it.
didn't get it.
I didn't.
I was the one who sent Rebecca an email, so maybe that's what she got, is she forwarded my email to her to you.
Maybe. That was from you?
Yeah.
And that was the resolution. They resolved it. They voted on it and everything.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, that was
The
it.
town board.
Can you send that to us, please?
To give it an extension?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, there's two 30-day extensions. So in that resolution, it says like, what, September 25th, I think.
23rd, actually, it was
Okay,
68.
but with the extra 60 days, it goes to November 24th.
But we don't have to ask individuals. The original resolution from July said we had to ask and they would approve it individually.
Right,
No, this was a blanket.
right. So I
Right.
talked to Biloxi today. She's the HR bookkeeper. Yes, the way the resolution says is that board members need to request an extension. So if you can't meet the September deadline.
But this is on the
please
training.
request
isn't
a-
it?
I don't
Is there
intend
anything else
to ask for an extension
for the
because I'm
training?
opposed to policy.
No,
And I've asked for
it's a
the
bully,
board,
it's a bully thing.
town board to
What's
address that. But I personally.
No, it's
am
just
not
like,
asking
oh,
for an
no,
extension.
don't worry, we extended it for you.
I'd like that on.
Yeah, but I mean,
No, no, there wasn't, no. No,
Okay,
no
so I mean,
substance, no
I don't
discussion.
wanna have this, sexual harassment or,
How to hire and fire.
Right.
People that we don't do anyways.
no.
And I actually did the other one, and the other one's got 50% of it is that stuff too, all in businesses. Which are not really that appropriate for us.
Niels has just said that what he thinks the board has done is to restate the policy that if we ask for two extensions
that.
as individuals, we can get them. Not that they've granted it already.
So are you asking me? Yep.
No, I'm just saying
Extensions.
that that to me means that the town board really has not addressed our complaint yet.
No,
And I personally do not tend.
no,
to
they
ask
just,
for an extension.
but it's kind of
I want-
what Rich said, well, he was sitting here, right? Said, well, we can get the extension, don't worry, we can extend it, and we all said. Well, that's not what we're asking,
Right.
this is not
Well,
appropriate.
the town board has a meeting next Tuesday. And I think at least some of us should go and express our concern. Or we
That's
could
not a
pass a
bad
resolution
proposal.
tonight, one of the two, but I think we should. Make a statement beyond just telling which what we thought at our last meeting.
Yeah.
Person.
Let's go, we all going?
What is it? To the 12th?
Oh, I got a commitment that night.
It's
You know what?
A commitment that night. It's next Tuesday, right?
The 12th.
Yeah, well, yeah, seven, yeah, right?
All right, that's a good idea. You around?
Mayor?
Not to check my stuff, you around? Are you,
I already did the training.
me too, but that's not the point. When those were appropriate, you thought, for our BZA?
Oh. I didn't get some of the mailings because
Oh,
I
right,
had
right,
been
right.
here in person, so I don't know what you're talking about.
No, the trainings though, but you did the trainings.
I did the
EEO, the
ethics
equal
training and
opportunity,
sexual harassment training,
right?
I'm sitting right over there.
Oh, in person.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I didn't get the emails because I was
yeah,
already.
you already did that, right? Oh, listen to you.
Yeah, but I gather there was some other stuff in that email about other training.
For those of us who were not able to go to that meeting,
Right.
my case is conflicted
But,
with my
but I
Right.
gathered, I thought that from what somebody said, that there was also mention of the BZA training,
We would like that.
which isn't appropriate. All the training that I have done for the BZA hasn't been appropriate for the
Right.
BZA,
That's right.
Exactly. I
So-
did
and
the-
I'm not willing to waste my time.
Well, so, okay, that's what I think that's what would like to present as a group.
I mean,
So
to put it
if
another
you can
way,
Go on Tuesday, then, I mean, that'd be great.
2 years ago, I did this
Absolutely.
sexual harassment and, employment stuff, and I don't want to, I'm not gonna do that again.
Okay.
Well, that is, I believe, a state requirement.
No,
that
no, it
people
is,
do it every year,
it is not for the BZA.
not the
It is
BZA.
not,
Okay.
if you're an employee of the town, paid by the town, you have to do this.
Okay,
Yeah.
Volunteer this board, it is not.
okay.
And it makes sense.
And by the way, the state says you only have to take it for one of your things. I happen to work for the state. If I take it to the state, the town won't take my state planning.
Right, I know, I've heard all,
I work for the state.
so that's a whole different, there are two different sets.
Yeah, there's all different layers here, but you're saying what we're saying, which is it's not even appropriate for the BZA, right? It's not relevant. It's just not relevant.
Well,
And I object to spending.
I'm
that
saying
kind of
one
time,
set of
effort,
training is not relevant, I don't know whether. My making sure that I'm not gonna, like, fondle Bob's knee or something. is appropriate that.
Say harassing their comments to them and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you think it's not appropriate?
And I was gonna ask Charles there, but he wanted to come over for drinks.
Yeah, right, right.
He can't get
For
late,
instance.
he can get at my house, but I thought I'd have to wait till this is all settled.
Probably.
Okay, and so. That's a good suggestion, Bob, thanks.
I
Maybe
think
go
that
to
all
the
goes
meeting
as
next
informal
Tuesday.
discussion. Molly,
Yeah, it's on tape, it's all on, you can watch it online, Cars, you wanted to talk about cars? Is
Yes,
that what you said? Okay,
well. Looking at the,
did you look at it? I thought the dresser thing, I thought the premises was well defined.
oh yeah, but with the-
I got a
What?
question for you.
what I wanted, and what I talked to Terry Pollock about was.
Yeah.
Was Schedule A, which is the property which had this survey, but it didn't have.
And the coordinates and everything, and then they got, they
No, but
defined it words.
What they didn't have was because this property consists of 3 parcels.
Two.
No, 3.
Oh.
Tyler County is 1, and there are 2 in Tompkins.
Okay,
And so what I wanted to do was to set out, and I think it was in the original one was to have her set out what the parcels were originally. And so that, and be the same premises, covers a whole, whole. No, that's the unitary description of the survey.
okay,
That's not, if you look at. Let me just show you if I can find it here. I guess I-
so my question is, do we have to okay this? The new declaration with the red line, as we're calling it, that's blue, Mike?
Because so the change that I know of, besides the legal description was the. Change of 5.8 or 5% down to
Yeah,
4.5%.
4.5, right?
So that's the only
But I think we.
change. That.
But you
And
see,
the
we
date,
discussed
the
that.
date has changed and.
What I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is the showing the sources of title, because that covers a whole multitude of sins, if, you get screwed up later on. So what I wanted to do is, I think the one I was looking at had A1, A2, A3, which was the original 3 parcels.
I don't see that when I'm looking at the GIS maps that have 2 parcels. I don't see the 3. So you're gonna have to
No,
educate me on
it's
this one.
sources of title. The main parcel in Tompkins County was originally conveyed to by Hoffmeyer,
Yeah, right,
and then it
right.
wasn't big enough, so they had to,
And another one,
right, exactly. And so it's 2 parcels in Tompkins County.
okay,
Source, I mean, they're all on tax parcel number, that's right. Now,
then you don't think they're combined then? They combined them, somebody combined them in the
I
past.
know the legal descriptions are the key that. If things get
You
screwed
like
up
the
down,
title, you want a title search kind of on this.
no, but I wanna have the materials there so that if things get screwed up somehow, that there'll be a source that you can go to, that you can rely on. So anyway, so I talked to Carrie Pollock
Yes,
this
right.
morning, and she agreed that was, a good thing to do. She was gonna,
So you're gonna send it to us?
send it to us.
Okay,
Anyway, so, but my question to you, this board is. Looking at the covenants, and I didn't raise this with Terry, was. What's to prevent somebody from coming along and for instance, subdividing the side of county parcel. Splitting it off of parcel. No, that's what we want. But I think that the basic parcel is what we're concerned about. And the reason we approved it was that was a sizable parcel. And so I guess my question is, I don't see any, and maybe somebody as smart as I am, but do I see any prohibition against subdividing?
The hectare.
Right,
That's certainly. Our intent was that it would not be subdivided, right?
right.
So if it's
But
not
it's
in
not
here,
covered when we say you can't do something
I
to
don't
it
know.
without our permission.
I don't know.
The parcel is defined as a chunk of land. It's well defined. And then and that chunk of land can't be Well,
That's
nothing can be done unless they get our permission.
that's my question.
Right. Well. That's my
I mean,
assumption that that's covered.
yeah, assumption, but you know what assumptions do?
Right.
Oh, yeah, but what? I mean, so you're gonna talk to Carrie again? Or?
Well, I guess I wanted to have the sense, I want to have the sense that we understood. That no part of that hectare parcel could be subdivided.
Well, I think Bob just said it, that was our intent,
Right.
but,
Does this capture our intent? That's the question.
well, here, well, very specifically, no, my intent is to keep that to be not developed,
Exactly.
overly developed, so I don't care how many parcels there
That's
are.
what I assumed.
If
it
there are
was.
20 parcels or 40 or something, as long as it's not all developed.
Yeah, but suppose you get in a pissing contest with, somebody and the thing comes down to.
Well,
why-
so I'm not concerned about the parcelization, but you're saying it could complicate things and all that.
Right, no, I'm
Right.
saying if in fact there's no prohibition against subdivision.
Yep.
And somebody tries to split off a parcel.
Yep.
And they get into litigation, the judge is probably gonna say, well, you didn't say that,
Yeah, it doesn't say that.
Didn't say what?
no subdivision.
Well, okay, but what it does say clearly is that they can't build
Right.
on it. That's pretty
Yeah,
clear.
but somebody else takes a part of the parcel, maybe a rear 3 or 4 acres.
Okay, but you can't build on that land. It's pretty straightforward, I thought.
Who says that?
Me. That's my interpretation. I'm not telling you the law. That's your,
I guess I'm saying. We left that open.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
What the law says is that they can only have a certain percentage coverage. If they can maintain that an appropriate percentage while they sell off 2 lots in hectare and they still have the appropriate percentage coverage, who are we to say you can't sell off 2 lots in hectare? They still have the appropriate percentage coverage within the law.
But they're close
Yeah,
to that now. They're
but the point is-
4.3 or something.
The
no,
hectare-
that's only in our time. Oh.
The hectare land
Oh,
was,
yeah, totally. Okay.
the hectare land was the key to the lot coverage
Yeah.
determination.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
right.
that's what it comes down to.
they're close to that now. Right?
Yeah, so,
They're very close to that, right?
well, if I may, I think what might help David's question is, if you look on the page 4 of the declaration that we
Yeah.
have, it spells out that the area in Tompkins is 6.336 acres, and the land in Schuyler is 28.017 acres, and that's what the 4.5 lot coverage is about. So
Yeah,
we can't control if they subdivide the land, but the intent is that total 28
it'll
plus
go
6
over
acres.
4.5.
Right,
So if they sell a chunk that back, as you're saying, I'm using your example, they sell the back parcel or something like that, their percentage goes up
and then this.
beyond what we've allowed.
Yeah.
I think we have a constraint, we constrain this.
Well, I guess that's the question I'd like to raise with them.
With whom though? A judge or?
No, with Terry, no, not with the judge.
Yeah.
With Terry Pollock. I mean, if they say. If they assure us, well, I'm not convinced, but anyway, I'm saying that what we've done here. You're saying it's implied, it is implied.
No, it's not implied, it's limited by this, by the. Or whatever percent, if they decrease their total holding. Then their percentage goes up. To pass what we allow, we don't allow that. They're right on the edge right now, they're in a real thin edge of lot coverage.
So they need to keep that parcel intact to maintain their.
Right.
lot
1.5%,
coverage.
whatever.
We don't need to say anything else.
I don't think we do, they can sell little
They
pieces and do
can't
whatever
sell
they
off
want.
anything without.
They can do what?
The next one.
They can give off little pieces, but every time they do, they get closer and closer to the
They can sell
violation.
it, they can't build them.
The survey by TJ Miller is also incorporated
Enough
in this,
acreage.
so as a visual reference,
Yeah,
as a tax
Yeah.
parcel, as a lot acreage.
yeah,
I think it's pretty, I think you're okay.
So
I think so too,
I think so. I think we're okay. Because the other restrictions cover the thing that we're concerned about.
Well, I mean, you're saying that the restriction discovered by the
That's-
survey.
That's improvements on the building.
The survey is incorporated in this.
Right.
Square feet without asking my permission. But this is.
So they sold off,
I haven't checked. Is the survey incorporated into the legal language in the Schedule A?
Yes,
It is
yes.
incorporated here, but written by reference.
Lead dresser, yes, boundary topo gives the date and the name, yes.
yeah. References made to survey map prepared by, look, right, no, last page. Flip to the end. Yeah, right there. Those are key. Look at the second paragraph there, the first one, reference is made by.
Incorporated here by reference.
So I'm not saying you can't talk to her and ask all these things, but I feel okay, not, and it's not my expertise. You ask me about the environment, I'll probably be a little more authoritative, but.
Well, let's put it this way, I would feel more comfortable if it did say subdivision is no prohibited. but on-
That really wasn't my intent, though.
On the other hand, I called her this morning saying I wasn't gonna suggest anything substantive about the covenants, just, the legal description and how it was, how it was, structured. She was okay with that, but I'm a little reluctant to go back to her and say, well, what about no subdivision?
I'd be reluctant too. I don't, it doesn't serve my purpose. Does it serve yours? Anybody? Do you care?
I'm not a lawyer, but this,
Okay.
No, if they subdivided, wouldn't affect, it wouldn't bother me, but.
They,
well,
they cannot violate the percentage coverage.
That's right.
And if they subdivide it, that will put them
So,
into violation, so they
they will.
cannot do it, we don't need to say anymore, we got it. It's all
Okay,
covered.
that's my interpretation.
Okay,
It'll put them, they're right up against the edge, so it'll put them right over the thing that's clearly stated,
okay.
I think.
Oh,
And I do like that they had the whole dresser referred to the,
yeah.
that's kind of what we're getting at last
Right,
time.
right.
They're worried about it. Yeah, okay, all right, great,
So basically, the survey becomes the legal description.
good,
That's what incorporation by reference means.
okay, good, excellent. Good to hear it. We good? Everybody fine? Anything else?
Move to adjourn.
I have a motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody, that was good.
Now we're getting the other in October, is that right?
If there's a application.